Hello, Mark Riddler's here for Drink At Your Podcast. Thanks for joining me on this really nice sunny day. After all the weather we've had, it's been really cold and it's going to really warm up. So, today's episode on the Drink At Your Podcast is you don't have to have it all figured out before you start. And there's so many of us that think that they have to have it all figured out before they go catch their dreams, before they go whatever it is, before they can move on. They have to have it all figured out. And I'm here to tell you I was that way once too. But you don't. You don't have to have it figured out before you start. And I keep emphasizing that to make a point because you don't. If you have a dream, it's going to probably take a lot of things to do that dream. And it's kind of like starting this podcast. I didn't need to have everything figured out before I started doing this podcast because this podcast has definitely turned into my dream. It wasn't really a dream when I started, and I thought that I had to have it figured out. I thought I had to have it perfect. I thought I had to have questions, laid out. I thought I had to have, the best mic. I thought I had to be so professional, and I found out that that's not the case. I didn't have to have it figured out. I just started, and I think a lot of people put that off. They use that as an excuse for actually doing a podcast because you don't. I found out after starting the first 10 podcasts that I didn't need questions. Actually, that was something that people didn't really resonate with. I actually have a Blue Yeti, but I've had a Samsung. I've had some really, really inexpensive mics that are pretty darn good. And then I could have a studio, which I will one day, I believe, have a studio. But this is my office. It works great. We need some soundproofing, definitely. But if I had waited until I had like a Shure mic, I had the soundproofing. I had some stuff that I'd studied podcasting. I would have never probably started. I would have probably gotten overwhelmed and thought, that's for other people, not for me. And I'll tell you, here it is. I'm in year 4, and it was for me. And that's so many things that we do in life. Traveling. You think you need to learn all the things about traveling, especially when you're traveling abroad. Like in Europe. And I've only really done that once. I mean, I've been to Mexico once, but never Italy. Italy's the only thing I've really traveled, overly to Europe, and it was intimidating. That definitely is a dream to travel. And we were going to travel in 2015, I guess, because it was going to be Cheryl and I's 2015, 2016, 25th wedding anniversary. And, that's when her colon cancer showed up. So, yeah, you just got to start. You just got to start and go after those dreams because you're never going to know. You never know until you really go through it, what's going to happen. I didn't know what it's going to be like. I mean, I never had done an international flight. Had never flown Lufthansa before, which was an awesome airline. Highly recommend them. They did a great job. And then I'd never been through we flew into Munich, Germany, and it was so easy. I had never gone through with my passport and all this stuff. And, if I'd have waited until I knew everything about what was going to happen, I wouldn't have done it. And so you really want to stop. You want to stop stopping because you don't know everything. Because you can get your dreams without knowing everything. And sometimes your dreams turn out better because when you have a plan, like I had some plan, like I said with the podcast, I had my questions all laid out and I had it really detailed and, I wanted to, and I still do vet people beforehand, which is a very good thing to do. And one thing, it builds rapport before you do the podcast. And then for the few people that, which hasn't been many, it weeds out the people that just aren't a good fit. So what is it you want to do with your dreams? Since this is the Drink Catcher podcast, travel, as you know, I just said was one thing and that was one thing also, if I waited until I thought I had to learn Italian and I had my app so I would, be able to talk to people and, I had exchanged for euros and all that stuff. And, if I'd have waited until I knew all what was going to go on, I wouldn't have probably done it. And the thing is, almost everybody we were at knew English well enough to communicate. Only one person really not. We could use credit cards over there just about everywhere. We did get some euros exchanged there, but and even my ATM card worked over there at their machines, which surprised me. It was so easy, and I think that we overthink, that we have to know everything. We have to have it figured out. If you're going to start a business, we want to figure it all out. And yeah, you probably want to know, maybe cash flow, what you're thinking and all that stuff. But I'm here to tell you, life happens, things happen that are going to throw a monkey wrench into your plans. You just got to go for it. You just got to go for it because your dreams, every day is a gift, and you never know when it's going to be your last. So just go ahead and start going after those dreams. Go catching those dreams, and just forget about not knowing how to have it all figured out before you start. Um, I'm really harping on that because I see the majority of people stop doing what they're going to do. They want to, maybe they want to sing, maybe they want to be a speaker, um, maybe they want to be a podcaster, maybe they want to be an author. And that has been one of my things that I've never ever thought I would know how to do, write a book. And God is putting things in my path to show me how to write a book. Just like a few weeks ago, that writing masterclass, which was awesome. I really, Cheryl and I both enjoyed it. It was put on by the Humanities here in Nebraska. We had, I think there was 8 of us. Um, I think I've said that. I mean, I was shaking by the time I got done. It was so intense with what they had you write about. It was really pulled at your heartstrings. It just, I mean, pretty much everybody was crying because of what, the writing exercise. Um, the guy that was running was cool, and but I if I thought I had to have it all figured out, I would probably never even consider writing a book. And I will be writing a book at a minimum one, um, and maybe a child's book. I had somebody, I guess that was yesterday, said maybe you should write a book for kids, and it's like maybe, but I have no idea how to do that. But just start. Maybe journal every day. Get into the mode of writing every day. And that was one thing they taught us in his master class. They said you can write so much in just 15 minutes a day. And it's like, that's a way of putting it so it doesn't overwhelm because you think you have to do so much. And that's how he did it with our exercises in this master class. We did 15 minutes of writing, and which actually was good. It was perfect time for to write. But that applies to anything. If you want to figure something out to a point, you're not ever going to have it figured out. I mean, I don't even have podcasting figured out. One thing, it's a moving target. Like everything nowadays, everything is continually moving and advancing in AI, and oh my gosh, there's so many things out there. Just like AI in here. I mean, it's awesome because it writes pretty much everything. It writes the titles. It comes up with the keywords, the tags, which is basically the same thing. It does so much stuff. I mean, I don't have to write anything. Description. I feel like I'm almost cheating because I mean it's good. But and that's another thing. AI. I have mixed feelings on it. I've seen things that really are amazing. I saw one just a little bit ago where they had this dog, one of those dogs, I think with using AI, was basically cleaning the yard of leaves. And I'm all for that one, let me tell you. But I saw one earlier also. They had this new tractor that had AI based technology where it could actually tell the weeds from the plants that you wanted to grow, and you didn't need to use any chemicals. Wow. And that talk about a win-win. If AI can do that, I'm way on board. The only thing about AI is I don't want it to take away our personality, our individuality. That is worrisome. And then knowing what is fake and what is real. But like any technology, it's got the pluses and minuses. But um, yeah, but no, getting back to, you don't need to have it all figured out. And you'll look back in your life and it's like, nah, I never had it figured out. And I don't know if I'll ever have podcasting figured out. But that's one thing. You also grow when you're when you're just trying to wing it, basically not have it figured out. You learn a lot. You learn on the fly a lot of times. but you learn it because you learn it that way. I think it's kind of like book learning and real life learning. You can study and do book learning, and until you really get into the meat of it, really what's going on, I don't think you really learn it real well. I mean, I got two college degrees, and all this stuff, and I remember very little of it. It's the stuff that I did in real life that I definitely remember, from restaurant management to handyman to farming to doing this podcast. So, but yeah, it's just you don't need to figure it all out. And I hope everybody takes that to heart so they go out there and get their dreams because the world is. I mean, I had a couple people that I wish would still be on the podcast, but they decided last minute not to. And the world is truly waiting. There's a group of people out there that are waiting to hear your voice, and everybody has something to offer. Everybody has something to offer, and that's why I think everybody's a candidate. I know everybody's a candidate for doing a podcast, be my guest, or a guest for any podcast, or starting their own podcast, because the world is truly waiting. I had no idea that people would resonate as much as they do, and sometimes it's the people that I wouldn't think would resonate with me at all do. It's just like yesterday. I talked to this awesome dude from North Carolina, and I was kind of intimidated by him because he's done quite well. Met him from through LinkedIn, and or actually he's doing his studio. He just started podcasting, and he's got actually two podcasts. And yeah, we hit it off, and it was amazing how Guy crossed our paths because we almost had the exact same. We paralleled what we had gone on in our life. It was just like my mouth kept dropping open. It's like me too, and we talked an hour, and it went by very very quickly. Should have done a podcast with it, but yeah, he wants to wait until his studio's done, and I've got in my mind's eye, I've got a studio idea here too. So especially with the sound and the lighting, it would be better. And my Blue Yeti mic does amazingly well for the price. I would highly recommend them if you're thinking about starting podcasting. But that's something you can study. You could really get bogged down in studying just mics or the lighting, and not really get going because you don't know it all. And let me tell you, there's a lot of mics out there. Or if you need a stand, where you have the mic with the arm and stuff, or you need to have like a ring light, which I do, but I would rather actually I'd rather have some of these kind of square rectangular LED lights. I think it maybe gives more even. You can always tell people that have ring lights because you can see it in their eyes, which is all right. But it is what it is. But and that applies to anything that you're thinking about doing. And don't think that you don't. And like my case, you could think I'm never going to know it all, and I'm too old, or too stupid, or too. Well, I have more people tell me they're too dumb to do this stuff, and it's like you're not. You're not. But for one thing, there are people like myself, other people out there that are coaches in just about everything. I think I'm going to maybe. I hope I still am going to be a coach slash teacher for podcasting. I look forward to that, and I have said that before. But I don't know it all. But if I thought I needed to know it all, I probably wouldn't have even considered teaching, podcasting. But I am a life coach. I could do that, and I don't know it all. But that just doesn't resonate as much. I like the motivational, inspirational part of what I do, and that's something that came about that I'm surprised came about with speaking and doing podcasting because I've had a lot of really inspirational, motivational people cross my paths with, like this Baron that'll soon be on the podcast here. Um, yeah, he's. I can't wait for you to meet him. And but on that, I get on like a dog with a bone. But I'm passionate about this, and podcasting or whatever it is your calling is, and we all have callings. Like I've said, God gave you a dream, and the wherewithal to do those dreams or dreams, and don't overthink it. Don't have to think, have to know it all before you start doing something. You didn't know, like driving a car the first time. You definitely didn't know it all. I think some people still don't know it all, but you learn by doing. And yeah, you just learn by doing, because that is the most important thing, is doing, taking action. And that's what so many people don't do when they have their dream there. They don't take that first step. And I think the first step is the most difficult, because you're afraid you're going to fail. You're afraid you're going to be stupid. You're going to be, make a fool of yourself in front of everybody else. And you know what? Don't care. Just don't care. Everybody does that when they start something new. Nobody knows it all. Nobody's not going to be stupid or look silly or whatever the words are. Um, it's you just got to go and do it. And yeah, you really just have to do it. And that is my word of wisdom today. Um, and don't dismiss your dreams. They were given to you for a reason. And everybody's like, they don't live their dreams because they wonder about how it's going to make money. And what God tells me is making an impact, doing what the dream is primary. Money always secondary. The money, if you're making an impact and helping a lot of people, the money will show up. You know, you may wonder sometimes, and they're like Baron and I were talking yesterday. It is a journey. You will be tested to see how much you really want that dream. And let me tell you, you really get tested. Cheryl and I have been tested greatly with this podcasting dream, very much. But it is getting to the point where, like, people like Baron are reaching out to me, and I'm honored. And I almost didn't almost talk to him, because he has such a what he's doing. I mean, he's way up there. I perceive him as way ahead of me in the journey, and he never came across that way yesterday at all. And see, I didn't know it all. I thought I knew it was how the conversation was going to go. I was going to be intimidated, and wasn't. I was definitely not intimidated. I look forward to meeting him in person, and just yeah, just do that and go catch those dreams. So go do your podcast, go write your book, go do what it is that you really want to do, and don't let the money stand in the way, because you can be doing things, you can make quote unquote a living and still barely get by. And if you're barely going to get by that way, you might as well do the dream. You have the potential to make it big money, because you're doing your dream, you're doing your calling. The right people are going to come to you. The right opportunities are going to come to you, because the universe likes somebody that's stubborn, and somebody that's like, I'm going after this dream. I don't know it all, but I'm going after this dream because it's my calling. It's what I'm going to do. And you do the same effort when you go to a job you hate day in and day out and barely make ends meet. You might as well do it with something that is your calling, and you may for a while not barely make ends meet. Easy for me to say. Um, but in the end, it's so worth it. Where I'm at in my life, I love my life. And yeah, I'm so glad that Crystal in California, who was my coach at that time, um, suggested doing podcasting. And each person's individual. And I also, like I've said many times, coaches are definitely worth the money. If you need a little bit more guidance, go out there and get a coach. Like I've said many times, there's so many coaches out there that are very, very reasonable, especially for them shortening the learning curve and showing the way. And that's kind of what God's got in mind for me. He tells me I'm going to show people their gifts and show them the way. And he's told me that numerous times. And still, I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know the way. I don't know everything about it, but I know I will be doing that. The path will reveal itself when the time is right. And I have found that with podcasting and a lot of things that I've done in my life, the path will become apparent when it's time to become apparent. And yeah, it's just so awesome, And like I told Baron, I said I never feel like I work, because I'm doing stuff I love, and that's worth a lot. For one thing, you put out a great vibe, and people are attracted to that. And people that of influence, a lot of times are attracted to that because they see you doing what you love. And I can even tell people, Baron definitely is doing what he loves, and I can. In fact, I talked to a gal yesterday. She's got a vibe and a half, and she truly loves what she's doing, and it just is contagious. It really is contagious. And she doesn't know all the things she needs to do either, but she started, and she's got such a great path ahead of her. I foresee that, but I am not the one that makes that final decision. So, but on that, I'm going to end this episode of the Dreamcatcher podcast. But don't let not knowing everything about what you want to do keep you from starting and going after whatever it is, your dreams, your calling, the business you want to start. Whatever it may be. You really never will know all. You won't know it all. You will learn a lot along the way, but I think I will never know all about podcasting or whatever it is, or working out. There's always something new to learn, which I find intriguing and I love. So on that, thank you everybody for joining me on this episode of the Dreamcatcher podcast. Until next time, take care.